All right, welcome to Mission Monday. Didn't do one last week. I was down in Texas working with 8 Days of Hope, helping out with the recovery from Imelda that caused a lot of flooding in the Beaumont area. Well, actually, all of the Houston area, but we were stationed out of Beaumont. And so it was great to be down there serving with them. Had a bunch of our leaders coming in, and I got everything set up for the volunteers to start Wednesday night. And then was there through Friday night, and then one of the other leaders took over after that. But it was really cool to be there on the kind of on the front end, getting things set up, getting to meet with the folks in the area and talk with them, and just sort of learn about their experiences through the storm. And definitely, it's weird. No matter how I've been doing disaster response since 2013, and no matter how many flood zones I go into, tornado, hurricane, whatever it is, the stories are always so different, but yet so similar. And so it's always incredible to see how God works through these times and reaching out to people's lives and everything. Wanted to touch on, so if you've looked at the story on Instagram or on Facebook, I mentioned about reading the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in reference to the night that Jesus was arrested. And the reason I asked everybody to do that, and I want to touch on that, so each time that we do a response trip with 8 Days of Hope, we have a verse that is kind of our verse of the trip. And so we do a devotion in the morning and at night that's led by one of our leaders, and we've kind of focused around that verse. And it's really cool to see how everybody kind of gets a different takeaway from it. So each leader that does a devotion around that verse touches on something different. And they're never identical. And so it's really neat to see how that all falls together. But this trip, our verse was John 18:6. And unfortunately, I left my Bible sitting on my nightstand at home, so I don't have it sitting here in front of me to read exactly. But it's when the guards and Judas has come into the garden, and Judas has already betrayed Jesus, and Jesus says, "Who are you looking for?" And obviously, this is not a direct quote because I don't have it to read in front of me. But Jesus says, "Who are you looking for?" And the guards say, "Jesus of Nazareth," and he boldly says, "I am." And then in John's telling of the story, the guards actually step back and fall down. And then, Jesus asks them again, "Who are you looking for?" And they say, "Jesus of Nazareth." And he says, "I am," again. But it was just really interesting to me. So when we first had this verse, Chris picked it out, and I read it, and I'm like, wow, where are we going to go with this? I mean, it's a very short verse, the actual verse itself, John 18:6. And so I'm thinking, man, where are we going to go with this? How are we going to have enough information or enough to pull from to have 3 weeks worth of devotions based around this? And I tell you, the more I dove into it, my eyes just really opened up. There is so much in that one verse and in the surrounding verses in particular. And so I ended up doing the devotion on the first night, and I went through each of the Gospels and read the section of that same account. And it was really interesting to me that there again, each one of them, so Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, each focused on different points from that night. So they all told the same story, but each of them kind of had a focus that was a little different. And it really made me think about, our lives and our faith and everything. We try, I don't know, for whatever reason in the world and in society, we try so daggone hard to all be identical and be the same and, compare ourselves to each other and all this stuff. And that's just not what we're called to do. We are each created as individual beings. We are each created with a unique purpose. And so it was definitely it was good, a good affirmation to see that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John each, they were telling the same story, but they each had a little different spot they were focused on. One of them focused a little bit more on just after he was arrested and who he was taken to see, the legal authorities and everything. Some focused a little bit more on the leading up to him being arrested, and how Judas was with these guys and walking in and all that sort of stuff. Some of them focused a little bit more on the actual arrest itself. So there again, all the same story, but just different perspectives of that same story. And then it really made me think, we have the opportunity, and we are called by God, each of us, to live our lives, and we each have an individual plan for our lives and a unique calling on our lives. And so I don't know, that was my big takeaway from it. My second takeaway from it was the courage that Jesus had. So even though, Jesus was God and the Word and the Holy Trinity and the Holy Spirit, all that all together, in that moment he was human. And so he's standing there knowing that he is about to be arrested, knowing that he already knows what's going to happen. He knows he's going to be tortured. He knows he's going to go through this excruciating pain. And man, if that doesn't just show you the love that God has for us, that he knows he's going to feel these things that we feel, and he's going to be tortured over the next several days, ultimately hung on the cross. He knows this is coming, and he boldly stands there and says, I'm the guy you're looking for. He even says, hey, leave these other guys alone. These guys that are with me, they're not the ones you're looking for. You're looking for me. So he boldly stands in that, and just so willingly steps into taking our sin and taking that punishment that each of us really deserve. And so that was, I'm even now I'm getting chills just thinking about that, thinking about him standing there doing that. And so it encourages me and really makes me want to stand boldly for him. I'll be honest, there's been times where I haven't, since I've been saved. Obviously, before I was saved, I was, doing all kinds of wacky stuff. But even since I've been saved, there's been many times where I've been, kind of like Peter and be like, oh no, I don't know the guy. Sorry, I'm just over here watching. I don't know the guy. Man, after reading that, it really it's like that, 2x4 upside the head saying, hey man, get it together. Like this guy knew what he was stepping into. He boldly stepped into it, and he did it for me. He did it for you. That's it. I can't even go beyond that. That love and that power is just incredible. So I would definitely encourage you, step into that love, step into it boldly. If you're already a Christian, I would definitely encourage you to boldly step into your faith, boldly step in and realize what God has done for you. And if you're not a Christian, I would encourage you to ask questions. I'd encourage you to pick up the Bible and read it. If you've got a close friend that's a Christian, please reach out to them, talk to them. Feel free to reach out to me. And I am by no means a theologian. I am by no means a Bible scholar. I will do my best, but I will probably refer you to somebody that has a lot better knowledge base than me once we get to a certain point. Wow, that power, that boldness, that courage that he had to stand there and say, hey, I'm the guy you're looking for. Put it on me. Let my friends go. That's incredible. So hey, that's the kind of the little bit of encouragement I got out of that, and I wanted to share. As far as Mission Monday goes, hey, we're getting ready to kick off October, and October is going to be a big month of preparation. So our next kind of big work day is going to be the first Saturday in November, and so these next several weeks, myself and our leadership team, we're going to be working hard, getting everything prepped for that, getting stuff set up. We are going to be putting out an announcement very soon of a kind of a little mini work day here at the warehouse. We've gotten this ramp that was donated and some other stuff, so we just got to get this all organized and cleaned up and prepped for the workday. So Chris Robbins is going to be leading that charge. He's kind of stepped up and said, hey, I want to help, sort of take care of the warehouse, organize things, get it moving efficiently. And so we'll have some information coming out about that soon. On Monday, October 14th, we're going to be having a steak night out at Harry's Alehouse. So make sure you plan to come out and have dinner on October 14th. Now that I'm saying that, I really hope I got that date right. It's a Monday, so if October 14th is not a Monday, check it out. But we'll have the event coming up. We'll post that on Facebook and social media and everything, and we'll send out emails and all that. But hey, invite a friend. We would love to just pack Harry's Alehouse. Doug, who's the owner, has been so gracious in doing these for us every couple months. And it's funny because two of them now have been on nights where there was horrible weather. One of them, there was a storm that actually knocked the power out. And then the other one, I think it was, I can't remember if it was snow or rain. Or, I don't know. There was two of them. I remember that there was bad storms, and so they didn't have great sales that night. And Doug was still willing to make a donation to our ministry. So let's get out there. Let's bring a friend, bring your neighbor. Invite people on the street. Invite some random person you run into at Wawa. Whatever it takes. But let's pack Harry's Alehouse on October 14th and come out and enjoy a great steak dinner. I'll be out there. My family will be out there. Some of our other leaders will be out there to talk to you and tell you more about what we're doing if you're just getting involved and just hearing about us. So definitely really appreciate that. And remember, mark your calendars for that first Saturday in November for our workday. At this point, we're planning on having probably about 10 projects. A couple of them will be more higher skill projects, probably a wheelchair ramp. We're looking at a possibility of a roof and a couple other things. And then we'll also have some that are a little lower skill level. So some yard work, some winterization. We've got a number of widows that we've been working with all year, helping. And that's why you use a stand when you record. We've got a number of windows that we've been using, or we've been working with over this whole year, helping keep their yards up, just do some basic maintenance on their homes and stuff like that. So we'll be doing some work for them and a few others. So like I said, mark that first Saturday of November on your calendar, and we'll get together and go out and serve and just share the love of Jesus with our community. But hey, we'll have more information coming out soon. Really appreciate y'all following along. Like I said, check out those gospel accounts of Jesus' arrest and really dive into that. I think it'll I don't know. I think it'll open up some things for you and open up your eyes to a few things. And I know for me, it was incredible really diving into that and learning a little bit more. But thank you all for following along. Greatly appreciate it. We look forward to serving with you soon. Remember, pray, donate, volunteer. Those are the three easiest ways to get involved. You can get more information on the website at 516project.org.